In the vaulted chambers of the Veilth Dominion Senate, laughter echoed. Holoscreens displayed fragments of old data, crude myths, battered records, and impossible accounts of a species called humans. The scholars called them ghost warriors, a name half sarcastic, half mystical. Their archives contained scattered tailies, ships that fought against entire fleets, soldiers who never surrendered, and a culture that treated stories not as entertainment but as weapons. Humans, sneered arch-strategist Kaelor, his silver crest rippling in amusement. The only race in our archives who kill more with words than with plasma, a myth, a superstition. Stories can inspire, yes, but stories cannot kill. The chambers erupted in agreement. To them, humanity was dust, erased by time if it ever existed at all. Legends carried no weight in a galaxy dominated by reason, power, and iron fleets. Stories were just echoes, and echoes could never wound. Or so they believed. A signal in the black. It began at the edge of the Atral sector, remote, unimportant, forgotten. Patrol scanners caught the faint whisper of a signal, not the usual pirate code, not a trader's beacon, something older, something familiar. The technicians nearly dismissed it, static wrapped in decay, but buried beneath the noise was a sequence. Not coordinates, not a call for trade. A story. It was a voice, distorted, cracked with age, speaking in a tongue long lost. The machine translators struggled, but fragments emerged. And they rose with fire in their hands, and even the stars trembled at their coming. The officers chuckled. Another human ghost tale, they said. Let the scholars have their amusement. But command demanded verification. A reconnaissance frigate, sleek and confident, was dispatched. The crew laughed as they jumped. We hunt phantoms, their captain joked. Perhaps we'll return with a bedtime story. They never returned. The silence that followed. For days nothing came back. No signals, no distress calls. At first command assumed technical failure, then pirates, then defectors. But when the next patrol was sent, their last transmission froze every council chamber in ice. Unidentified contact, not pirate, not Dominion design, hull scarred but alive, lights like embers across the void. They carry banners, old banners, markings that match mythological human insignia. They. Static swallowed the rest. The war councils grew restless. The arrogance that once filled their halls faltered. But denial is a fortress, and they clung to it desperately. It is a mimic, Kaelor insisted. Some forgotten culture miming human legends to frighten us. But even he could not hide the unease in his voice. The revelation. The truth came when the skis above Drakhull Prime darkened. Sensors flared, alarms screamed, and every viewport turned toward the void as a single ship emerged from FTL. Not a fleet, not an armada, just one vessel. But its silhouette was unmistakable. Its lines matched the ancient records. The scars upon its hull whispered of wars fought before half the galaxy's nations were born. Its name burned across its side in jagged glyphs that no alien tongue could erase. Terran. The chamber of the Dominion froze. What they mocked as fantasy now floated above their capital world. A myth had taken shape in steel and shadow. And then came the stories. Not words, not broadcasts, acts. The human vessel unleashed no greeting, no plea. It fired. Precision strikes tore through orbital defense stations as though they were paper. Drone swarms burned in controlled arcs. No wasted energy. No hesitation. The Dominion's admirals scrambled fleets into position, shouting disbelief even as their ships fell like insects into fire. It cannot be real, they screamed. But reality cared nothing for their disbelief. Stories made flesh. Panic swept through the Dominion as every engagement turned into a massacre. The humans fought with eerie silence. No taunts, no declarations, no demands, only cold execution, as if the battlefield itself was a story they were simply rewriting. Archivists whispered old human proverbs in terror. The pen is mightier than the sword. History is written in blood. They realized too late that humans had never separated story from weapon. To them, myth and war were one. Stories were blueprints of survival, manuals of conquest, guides to endurance. And now those stories had stepped out of the past to kill. The Dominion's finest ships fell not because they were weak, but because they had never believed this moment possible. Arrogance dulled them, disbelief shackled them. And the humans had been preparing in silence, crafting tailies as weapons sharper than any blade. The galaxy whispers. When the Terran vessel finally retreated, leaving only wreckage in its wake, the galaxy was not the same. Councils across star systems whispered the unthinkable. Humans are real. And worse, their stories kill. They understood too late that every myth, every tale of impossible defiance, every archived fragment of human fury was not exaggeration, it was instruction, warnings disguised as legends. The Veilth Dominion, once untouchable, now trembled like a child in the dark. The proud arch-strategist Kaelor, who had laughed at the idea of humans, was left staring at the wreckage of his fleets. His final words, recorded before silence claimed his chamber, were carried on every channel. They were never just stories. They were weapons, and we were too blind to see. And so the galaxy learned a truth written in terror and awe. They believe stories can't kill, until humans did. The high conclave of the Terathi Empire met beneath ceilings of glass and flame, a cathedral of power suspended above their capital world. Their warlords reclined in crescent thrones, scales shimmering with lazy pride. Another petition from the Academy, one lord sneered, clawing at the air dismissively. They asked yet again to study the Terran myths. The chamber erupted in laughter. Terrans, humans, ghosts of folklore passed down in scattered fragments of archive data, tales of predators that fought not for conquest but survival. Legends whispered of their extinction tens of millennia ago, their star worlds burned to silence. The generals mocked the idea. Stories cannot kill, Admiral Xyrus declared with casual arrogance, his mandibles clicking in amusement. We have fleets that darken suns, cannons that split moons. What could a myth do against us? The conclave echoed his sentiment. To them, humans were no more than nursery tales, phantoms invoked to frighten cadets or to remind the proud not to grow soft. No scholar had ever proven their existence. No scan had ever found a trace of them. And so the Empire laughed. The signal in the black. Months later, on the far rim of Terathi space, a listening post caught something strange. At first it was only a whisper, an echo buried deep in radiation static. Then it became a steady pulse, ancient, simple, Terran in structure. The station commander, a young officer eager for recognition, forwarded the anomaly to the science corps. His report included one chilling note. The cadence matches archival records of the Terran War Code, believed to be extinct. But the Council dismissed it. An artifact, a ghost recording, nothing more, they said. Yet the pulse grew stronger. Then came an image, an outline of a vessel sliding out of deep black. It was shaped like no Terathi craft, its design primitive, brutal, and efficient. Hull scarred, markings faded, but undeniably human. Still the Empire mocked. "Bring it in," Admiral Xyrus ordered. "Let the